Alright, here we go. What year?
08.
08. Cool. Oh, this is fun. I feel like I'm riding like a gold wing or something. This thing is big, but I will just right off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is possibly the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden. Got a gear indicator right here. So he said, okay, yeah, he's right. Yeah, obviously it's his bike. 105,000 miles on this bike. This is my friend Craig's bike. Same guy who owns the TL 1000 that I just rode not too long ago. And this one has 105,000 miles. Ooh. I guess I probably should have been like in first gear. Man, this thing is smooth, dude. If I were gonna get into like tour riding again, like long distance tour riding, this would probably be one of the top bikes on the list. So he said it's an 08 Concours 1400. So if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this has the same engine as the ZX14. It handles really well. I don't want to take these corners too hot because I know it is a heavy bike. He said it's around like 600 pounds, so I don't really want to like push it over too much. Let's get on a little bit. Woo! It's got some torque, man. I mean, obviously, if I am correct in what I said about the ZX14 engine, it's got a lot of torque. Most like sport touring bikes do have a lot of torque because they're usually the same engines they're used for sport bikes or super sport bikes, and they're just tuned differently where they don't top out as high, but they have a ton of torque. So it's super nimble though. I mean, for 600 pounds, you wouldn't think it. You wouldn't know it just from like cruising around on it, man. God, it's so comfortable. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna take her out on a main road right now. I'm just gonna whip it back around. See how the old U-turn does. Look at that. Tight turns, man. I kind of want to do that again. That was fun. Let's make sure we're all clear. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Alright, so this is probably one of the only bikes that I'm going to be test riding and not doing wheelies on just because it's shaft driven. It's got 100,000 miles on it. And it is a very heavy bike. But I figured, you know, I can get out and get a little rip on it and show you guys my thoughts on this bike. You know, coming from someone who, I used to do sport touring. I used to have a Ninja 1000 that, oh, a little snake. I used to have a Ninja 1000 and I've done quite a bit of touring. I've done like 700 plus mile days. Nothing crazy, but I have done some longer distance riding. Nothing insane. But yeah, guys, this is a lot of fun, you know. I've never ridden a bike that was quite this heavy or quite this like upright. Like my Ninja 1000 was fairly upright for a sport bike, but nowhere near like this. But it is just super comfortable. So I'm just gonna pull over real quick and we'll do a little walk around. I'm pulling over in the middle of nowhere, by the way. I'll pull over right here. There's like really no traffic in this area. Oh man, that kickstand's a little tricky to get to. Alright guys, so here we are, 2008 Concours 1400. Very big bike. Very smooth, super smooth, a lot of torque, very heavy bike, I will say, 600 pounds. Great, excellent touring bike. It was super comfortable. I believe that's a Corbin seat on there. I'm not entirely positive. Nope, it's a Sargent seat. And he's got some kind of bead thing, which is surprisingly comfortable. I never would have thought to ever put anything like that on my bike, but it's super comfortable. So he's got the Muzzy, I believe it's just a slip-on. So yeah, let's get more into this. Man, just the takeoff and everything is just super smooth. Low speed cornering, super fun. It's like I have fun on almost every bike I ride, but there are certain bikes that really stand out, and this bike is probably one of them right now because just the comfort level is insane. I mean, this bike, if I were gonna get into touring, this would be the one. As far as bikes I've ridden, now I have ridden like the ZX14 and other bikes like that. I've ridden cruiser bikes. They're sitting there waiting for me. Hopefully they're not getting too hot out here in this Florida heat. But yeah, man, I'm having a blast. This thing is fun. And it's just super smooth. Like, I feel like I'm sitting in a recliner right now. Like, I could just pop up Netflix on here and just Netflix and chill. Oh, man. Now, I can't compare this bike to, like, something like a Super Sport or, like, full-on, like, sport touring bike, like a Ninja 1000 or something like that. Because it's not built the same. This bike is more so built for like long distance comfort. You know, probably has a fairly big fuel tank where you can go lots of miles without having to pull over too many times or anything like that. But this is fun, man. I've never ridden a bike quite this big, and I'm having a blast. And I'm very surprised at how tight the cornering is on it. And now this is gonna get rough up here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bust a Yui right here. Let's see how she does off-roading. Not ideal. Very heavy bike to be off-road. What a fun bike though, man. Just the nimbleness and the throttle input is just so smooth, buttery smooth, man. I don't think I even left like 4th gear on this bike so far. I mean, I'm in 2nd right now, cruising at 50 at like 5,000 RPMs. I can only imagine when you're on the highway with this thing, you're probably like cruising at like 80 in 6th gear. Probably doing like 3,000 RPMs at most. Okay, so that's 3rd gear. I'm doing 50 and I'm at 4,000 RPMs. See, like anything like a super sport bike or even like a smaller sport touring bike, you're gonna deal with high RPMs on the highway, where this bike is just gonna be like super comfortable cruising speeds. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm having a blast on this bike. We'll see you in the next video. Hey, how's it going?